Welcome to this week's program, The Third Eye. In this program, we take an in-depth look at what is behind what we see, the daily stories in our politics, in our society. In this week's program, we look at the season of impeachment. Why are governors under threat? Why are governors not sitting pretty in their offices? And what are the reasons behind the impeachments we are seeing and the threats of impeachments across counties in Kenya? We unravel and bring you the story behind these threats. You're welcome. Article 185 of the Constitution of Kenya gives authority and powers, the legislative authority, to the county assemblies. In short, that Article 185 of the Constitution shows or gives powers to the county assemblies to be able to oversight the management and affairs of the county in general. However, recent events show that there is need to see and look at how to create synergies within the system with a view of ensuring that service delivery is upheld for mwananchi in the counties. There are several reasons as to why this is a season for impeachment. But before that, let's look at examples in the past where governors have been faced with the impeachment. First, there is the infamous county of Embu, where Governor Wambora has been taken to the Senate twice in his service to the Embu people. We know very well the High Court helped him to stay, and now he's about to finish his 10 years. We also saw the county of Kericho, where Governor Paul Chepkwony also faced impeachment, and the Senate was able to save him. There is also the county of Taita Taveta, the county of Nyeri, where the late governor was also taken to the Senate and was saved by the Senate. And lately, we have seen the county of Kirinyaga. So a total of 7 governors have faced these impeachment motions, and we know what happened to the county governor of Kiambu, where the impeachment motion brought to Senate bore fruit, and currently we have a new governor, and the former governor, Babayao, is out. Currently, we have issues, and this is why this program is important. We have issues in the counties of Kitui, where Mama Rainbow, Charity Ngilu, is facing the wrath of MCS. We also have the county of Nakuru, where the governor is also under siege. The county of Bungoma, where the governor is also facing problems and challenges from MCAs. And we also have the county of Trans Nzoia, not to forget the county of Vihiga, and many more where MCAs are after the county governors of those counties. But what are the issues which makes this the season of impeachment? One, we have issues at the local level. The members of the county assemblies and the MPs, the senators, and the governors have their own local issues, or what I can call local politics. This local politics is what goes to the county assemblies in terms of allocation of money to the wards, in terms of appointments in the county executive, appointments in the county assembly, and such local politics have fueled supremacy between the county executive, which is run by the county governor, and the county assembly. And this has manifested itself in some of those counties as an impeachment, or in the form of an impeachment motion in the county assembly, and later to the Senate. So county or local politics can be seen strongly to influence what is happening. Secondly, national politics has also played, we have seen national politics play a role in the impeachment motions. And this has got to do specifically with alignments in the national political arena. For example, we have seen pro-BBI, which is a national issue, and anti-building bridges initiative in the counties. And because of this, if the governor is on the other side of the political divide, and some of the MPs, senators, and MCAs are on the other point of the divide, so we have seen that being one of the pressure centers where the governors have faced wrath, and it has ended in the county assembly in the form of impeachment, and then the Senate, like what we are seeing even in Kirinyaga, or what we saw in Kirinyaga, where the county governor, Governor Waiguru, seems to be a pro-BBI, while some MPs and MCAs look like they are on the other side, anti-BBI or anti what looks like a national political issue. And therefore that manifests itself in the form of the county politics, and then takes itself to the county assemblies and the impeachment which is brought to the Senate. Thirdly, we have what we call serious preparations for 2022. Alignments and more alignments and groupings are being formed. Not only by MCAs, we have MPs in the scenario, we have senators in the scenario, and we have governors in the scenario. And you know, when a governor finds himself in a different political camp, like what is happening in Vihiga, where the ODM governor is in ODM, of course, and supporting the BBI group, and we have ANC MPs in Vihiga, including the senator. So the governor may face, and will certainly face, political pressure, and that may end up being in the form of indictment through impeachment. And because of these preparations, we are going to see more and more senators facing the wrath of MCAs, and we also have MPs and senators playing that role to ensure that those who are against them, or if the governor is not in their camp, then they put pressure on him or her, as we have also seen in the Kitui case, where Governor Charity Ngilu is in NAC, and most of his MCAs and MPs, including the senator, is in Wiper. And therefore, that pressure is what is coming in the form of impeachment. The fourth reason is re-election funds. 2022 is in sight. We just have slightly around 2 years. And the way politics in this country plays is that you have to prepare yourself. How do you prepare yourself? Politics in this country, dear Kenyans, is extremely expensive. And because of this, governors, MPs, MCAs, senators have to prepare. They have to prepare what we call a political war chest. It must be very strong. For MCAs, they can only do so in their areas of influence. Their areas of influence is the ward and the county. They can only flex their muscle against the source of funds, and most of them depend on governors. And therefore, they have to show their in this context, their political power by influencing the impeachment motion or pressurizing the governor. Where he does not give, or where she doesn't give, then this will be in form of an impeachment, and in the end, we will see that coming up, and it will be in the excuses of all names, that he is not working, that he is not cooperating with the MCAs, that he is not approachable, that he doesn't negotiate with them. And finally, this has got to do because funds are scarce. And the only way of doing so is to ensure you get this money from governors. Reason number 5. You know, Kenyans, we are living in very interesting times. These are times of corona. And you know, during corona time, We do not have money. Everybody is complaining. There is no money. Every Kenyan I meet in the streets of Nairobi, elsewhere I go, we don't have money. Industries are collapsing. Businesses are collapsing. And the only business which an MCA will have in the county assembly is to ensure they have money. How do they get money during this corona time when there is no trip to Israel, when there is no trip to Dar es Salaam for whatever reason, when there is no trip to Nairobi because the government has restricted movements, when there is no training because nothing is happening. In fact, there is very little activity in the assemblies and in the counties. So how do they get money? The only way is to target the governor. The governor has to give way. The governor has to give something for us to survive. So says the MCA. So the best way is to ensure that they extort that money, okay, from the governor. So what better way? We threaten you, unless you do this, unless you give this in the form of money, then we are not going to cooperate with you. And they gang up to extort money. In fact, if governors were to be faithful to Kenyans and start talking about the experiences they have had with county assemblies or county assembly members or MCAs, you will be shocked that the kind of stories we will hear are very, very bad. Reason number 6, interest by senior civil servants like CSS, like PSS, like senators. You know, what we have seen, even in the last election, most senators went back and became governors. And I can count them. Kiraitu Murungi was the senator of Meru. Now he is the county governor in Meru. And so many other examples. So what is happening right now is that some senators are strategizing on how to become governors back in their counties. Not only senators, we also have senior civil servants like PSS, like CSS, okay? Because they are not sure they are going to be PSS anymore or CSS anymore. So what has happened is that they are the ones in the back door trying to influence the threatening, the weakening of the county governor, so that by the time 2022 comes, they will have campaigned and made the county governor or the governor very weak. And then they will just come and introduce themselves with a background and they will have it very easy. That is what some of the senators did. That is what some of the PSS did last time. And those who did that and succeeded are already governors. So those are some of the reasons for the current scenario where we have issues of impeachment. But then what do we do in this scenario? How can we get out of this morass or mess which we find ourselves in, which is affecting service delivery because of fights, fist fights because of money, influence, and wanting, everyone wanting to be in charge at the county? Number one, we need to look at this situation carefully so that when we want to impeach a governor, we ask ourselves, where are senior county officers in this mess? For example, where is the CEC in charge of that department where there are allegations? I have never seen one CEC in those counties being followed. It is the governor who is followed. He has political responsibility, but the particular responsibility goes to the CEC in charge of that area. Number two, we also have what we call chief officers who are actually signatories to those accounts. How does it happen that the chief officer signs for money for a particular project, but the county governor is the one who is finally responsible? How come these other senior officers, the directors, the CECs, the chief officers are never touched and it's only the county governor? So we need to synchronize and see what happens or what should happen. Number two, what is the role of the DCI? What is the role of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission in all this? You know, because criminality, because ethical conduct of public officers is the work of both the DCI and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So these cases, it will be better if the county assemblies will be advised to follow those channels and forget about politicizing the entire process, because in the end, the people who suffer is grass, or if you wish, Kenyans. Kenyans in Kirinyaga will suffer, Kenyans in West Pokot will suffer, Kenyans in Nairobi are continuing to suffer because of these issues, Kenyans elsewhere will suffer because of politicizing a very simple issue which the DCI or Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission can follow up. The third issue, I have actually, Kenyans wondered, how come the issue which is very central in the counties, known as public participation, has never been followed? Because essentially, when all these projects, when all these things are done in the counties, there must be public participation. And I know this is where the county assembly should be careful, should be following, should be oversighting, because they oversight the management of county affairs. This is where they should be oversighting, to follow up and ensure that the county executive is actually doing project implementation properly, and the people of the county are fully involved, so that when there are issues, they are nipped in the bud at the local level, at the stage where money is not going to be lost. In any case, wananchi, the counties, will see that a road project which is supposed to have been done is done. Those are local issues. And therefore, they can follow public participation, which is actually enshrined in the Constitution, so that this is not, does not boil up to national issues when they should be sorted out in the counties. Lastly, the issue of negotiation. It is very pertinent. In the counties, everybody will have their view, their say about this or that project, about policy A, about policy B. In the end, negotiation is the only way out. If there are differences, like there have been differences, I have seen this in Nakuru, I have seen this in Machakos, I have seen this in every other county. There will be differences, but those differences are better sorted out between the county assembly and the county executive, so that in the end, after the negotiation, then mwananchi finally benefits from these negotiations. In any case, even if it is taken to the Senate, like what has happened for Kirinyaga now, and it is returned, like what happened in Embu, and again, as I hear, the county assembly again will want again to impeach, it is a really waste of time. Because if they negotiate, what are the issues? We want project A, B, C, D. Then a team can be formed between the county assembly and the county executive. They work a way forward. That will be a better method of operating than letting this boil over to the national arena, to the Senate. They are sent back to the county assembly and returned. That is merely wasting people's time, merely wasting resources which belong to the county, because a lot of money is involved in this impeachment, which is basically an exercise sometimes in futility, unless the threshold is changed. Because as it is now, the threshold for impeachment is so high that the county assemblies will have to work in those circumstances with the executive, not to eat, but to ensure that wananchi receive services in those counties.